Too sweet. Hi, thank you for watching JD Sports Reincarnation Episode 2. Maybe.
Whatever y'all want to call it.
Keep your, yeah. Alright, Jared Hood, Dwight, back at it at minimum for another NBA show.
Part dose.
Yeah, so last time we talked, we were laughing at the Clippers. We were celebrating the Lakers making their comeback, and
It's about reverse for everybody.
Brooklyn and Philly were just easily going to be the two playing each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. About that.
All right. Well, let's fast forward. Suns in 4. Suns in 4. I mean, I don't know. That's really the only series I didn't write anything down about because, like, other than Devin Booker going off, Chris Paul maybe not playing in the first game of the Western Conference Finals.
Are you worried about that, though? Because I ain't worried about that.
No, because I think by the time that the Western Conference Finals comes around, he'll either be there for, at minimum, Game 2, I would have to guess. I mean, I don't think it's going to be affecting everything, like, to that extent. He needs time with his shoulder, right?
Beat the Lakers, I was just like, yeah, it's either gonna beat them or it's gonna be who's the other one?
Jazz.
No,
Clippers. At the East. Milwaukee.
No, that's what I said. I was like, it's either gonna be them or the Hawks. I was like, just riding some type of crazy momentum right now.
Okay.
And right now it's looking like it's the Sun, man.
Yeah.
I'm convinced. I'm all in. They're going to. I'm saying they're going to the finals.
I wasn't convinced. I want to see them do it against. Now the Clippers. We'll talk about that. I want to see them do it against them because Lakers were hurt.
Yeah.
Denver second best player was hurt. So I'm not again. So it's just I want to see them. I don't disagree. Like they can shoot the lights out.
Devin Booker's on.
I love Devin Booker, obviously. Yeah, we had, years ago, the original JD Sports, that's why we joke about what to call it. The original JD Sports years ago, we talked about Devin Booker. When they weren't any good, you and I were always like, yeah, he's still, he's a monster. The rest of the team was never that good. But Ayton, Chris Paul.
Everything's clicking right now.
Monty Williams as a coach. Yeah, I mean, we could go all day. And they're getting some production off their bench. But, again, both the teams that they played were kind of not at 100%. So I want to see what they can do with teams at 100, with a team that is at, well, we'll see about Kawhi. And so maybe it is just the Suns' year.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then you get a team that just does that.
Yeah, I mean,
more so in the NFL, but I mean, everything's hitting stride right now.
We can go.
Like I said, I think I'm rolling with them. I think they're going to finals, no matter who they got to face. I think they're going to.
Well, they're going to have to play the Clippers, but we're gonna have to. I wasn't gonna go in this direction, but I gotta ask the injuries. Do you agree that it's like so much basketball in the same time frame, like LeBron said, or
potentially?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I mean, the year that Toronto won, they had injuries for Golden State. So I mean, like LeBron got injured, and the Lakers didn't make the playoffs that year. So like injuries happen. And have affected the playoffs before.
But it is a lot.
It is a lot, but like Kyrie and Kevin Love both getting hurt for a series in the finals.
It's a lot. I mean,
I don't disagree.
These are historic numbers.
Yeah, it is a lot of basketball in a short time frame too.
Yeah. I mean, what else could it be? You got to look at something like that. I don't think LeBron was wrong. Everybody about it.
I don't think he's.
It's not good. It isn't good for the league. Frankly, he's right. Like people pay to see, people want to see the stars. Nobody wants to see.
I agree with that.
The 8th best player on the team out there. Right. Like, no, we want to see the best people on the team competing against one another.
And he said before the season that this was a potential thing that could happen because there was a lot of basketball in a short time frame. But again, now, unfortunately, listen, you know me, I'm a player guy. I'm 1,000%. If it's players versus owners, I pick the players 10 out of 10 times usually. But the owners had them in a clause in the CBA, and last year only 55 to 58 games got played for every team before the pandemic struck. And the clause was if you don't play 70 games in the regular season, that the CBA could get null and void and the owners could write their own. So the only way to salvage the CBA was to finish the last season, regular season, get into the bubble, and then get 70 games this year. It's a lot of basketball. I don't disagree with any of it. They still played the playoffs even in the bubble last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a money grab for the owners. I don't disagree with that.
That's all it is.
But at the end of the day, LeBron's option was sit out, retire, or do it. And you're, like, not just LeBron, it's everyone. Yeah. So while I thought the criticism of LeBron was in the wrong direction because it's LeBron. Anything he says is hit or miss with everyone. Yeah. But it means more coming from him than it does JJ Redick.
Yeah. And he still need to say something.
Well, and agreed. So like he's the biggest voice. He's the biggest name. He's the biggest one that can affect the NBA's the NBA owners' ears and wallets the most. So if he says something, I didn't take it as the way everyone else did. I did feel like he was just trying to stand up for the players. But
yeah, and I was cool with that.
And I'm cool with that too. But my bigger thing was like, I don't know. It is, yeah. I think there's a potential chance that the injuries are because of it, but there's definitely been injuries before as well. So it's a mixture of everything.
Oh yeah. It don't hurt. It don't help anything.
And the other side of it is while he's saying that, and no one's bringing this up. And again, this is me thinking outside the box, and I'm not trying to knock LeBron here, but like Devin Booker and Lillard and other players are saying that they're going to play in the Olympics here in next month or the month after. So like. It's one of those, well, if they played all this basketball and that's why everyone's hurt, why are some of our superstars going to go, you know what I mean? Like, you would think everyone's going to go take that break. So, again, I'm not arguing against LeBron because I agree with him. It's just, It's one of those things. All right. That was way too much time on the Suns and NBA injuries. Let's talk about the series that are going on. Brooklyn, Milwaukee. All right, so we spent so much time on the injuries, more time on the Suns than I thought. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Brooklyn. Game 7.
Brooklyn.
To get here. Oh, yeah. We got a legendary performance from KD.
I can't lie. And I hate saying that legendary shit.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was special.
So that was the one that
was wild.
That's the one that they, like... Everyone, including myself, like, all right, man, like, we always knew KD was good. We always knew KD might be the best, if not the second best player playing currently. But like, we understand.
Yeah.
We've never seen KD do it alone. He's always had an MVP caliber player with him.
Yep.
Always. And I'm not knocking him.
Yep.
How it is. So, I know people get mad because he chases rings or whatever, but I listen, in this culture, go get championships. It doesn't bother me, right?
It bothers me, but at this point, everybody does it, so it's just like, it's normal now. It's normal. It's normal. So, do I like it? No.
I look at it this way, right, because you need 3 superstars now to win the championship, unfortunately. Or 2.
It's always kind of been like that, but yeah. Now
worse now than ever, yeah, because now it's just get me 2 superstars and put anybody around them, just shooters. And
that's been a norm for
a while.
LeBron effect.
It's the LeBron effect, right? Player empowerment.
Yeah, I mean it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
I got you.
I don't know. It still irritates the hell out of me.
I get it.
It got me a ship.
You get the same. Yeah.
I say all that wearing damn shirt and glasses.
You get the same. Yeah, and look, and everyone hates it, and I think it's really funny, right? Everyone hates the Sixers process.
I can't even say that. To be fair, we traded for AD, but yeah.
But everyone hates the Sixers process, right? Everyone hated the Sixers process. But everyone gets mad at the rest of the NBA's process of let's just make super teams. So it's
the Sixers process still sucks, but I hear you. I see what you're trying to say.
But the only reason they had to do the process was because of the super team. Like they went and they did what everybody wanted people to do. They built a team. Anyways.
I still hate it.
I get it, but there's the only way to do it. It's the only way. Look at Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's doing it 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better. I said that before, and I will continue to say it.
Yeah.
They're going to be dominant for like 10 years. They are going to be the Sixers on steroids in a couple years.
Maybe.
Back to Brooklyn. KD going off because we never seen him without anybody else. Wow, full circle, OKC.
I get it.
Guess we can talk about Seattle too.
I was literally about to say shouts to Seattle.
But, so KD doing what he did without another superstar. It was incredible. It was impressive. It was one of those, he left it all out on the court type nights.
Yep. I figured he'd be spent, honestly.
Well, and so that leads me to Game 6. Yep. Yeah, I mean,
it wasn't.
But the rest of the team still, like, Harden showed up a little more than he did Listen.
He's hurting.
But take him off the floor. They should have taken him off the floor. And look, not even take him off the floor. I can't blame them for not taking him off the floor. They weren't trying to expose him on the other end. Milwaukee, look, again, back to legendary performance. We'll go back to Game 5 real quick. Milwaukee in that game did not double Kevin Durant one time. Okay, they sent a second person at him. I think they said 4 or 5 times, and every time they did that, he would throw the ball away before he got doubled. You're not going to try more than that though. Like you're not going to make more of an effort. Don't get me wrong. Game 6, they definitely made more of an effort of picking him up early. I mean,
the double team's one thing. How about Giannis? Get on him. Try.
I don't disagree.
What Draymond saying? Hey, there's not a world that exists where I don't at least try.
I agree.
Giannis.
Nah, you gotta try.
I don't know the wingspan and all that. So I don't know the numbers and the measurements, but I feel like he's bigger than KD.
KD's probably a little faster, but he can get with him. I want to see it too.
Yeah, he's probably faster, but Giannis is probably more powerful.
No, I don't disagree. Giannis picked him up at half court. In Game 6 at times, and it made a difference, and it helped, and it will be an interesting part of Game 7.
Right.
The difference for the Milwaukee Bucks, though, because I was just mad at their coaching in general, but the difference for the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 7 to me is just, it's going to be simple. It's Chris Middleton making shots or missing shots. I mean,
isn't that loud?
Yes, but when I came on here, when we talked a couple weeks ago, I was saying how I like the style of, listen, they understand that Giannis isn't the closer, so they need, but they understand it.
Yeah.
So they knew that he got to be the guy. The issue was in games where he had to be the guy, Chris Middleton ended up not being the guy, very Tobias Harris like when we talk about the Sixers, and that's what led them to the situation of losing 2 of those games, where he just hits even a third of the shots that he missed that night, where he's going 0 for 12 late or whatever, not Embiid style, but he was pretty bad at times. And then he just gets some of those, they win the game and the series is over. So, which is interesting because I couldn't figure out who I was going to pick before the series. Like everyone, all the people I like and trust.
I kind of lie. No, because
I picked the Nets, but
okay, I guess I did pick the Nets because I was just like, no, Milwaukee has fooled me way too many times. So I was just like, nah, I'm not into this. Here they are in a potential, situation where they're advancing.
Okay,
but I'm still not confident at. Like I heard it on the radio the other day. I can't even give the credit because I don't remember who it was. But somebody was like, Milwaukee can win every scenario there is outside of the final stretch because they don't have that closer. They don't have that guarantee. And that's why I didn't buy into Milwaukee as much as I love Giannis.
Right.
I'm sorry. As much as Chris Middleton's a baller,
well,
that's cool. I can't buy into a circumstance where, okay, the game's on the line. Chris Middleton or Kevin Durant. I'm going to go, Kevin Durant's going to handle this. Or even James Harden. Like, one of those dudes is going to take over, and I'm going to pick those dudes before I pick up Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
I can't buy into a Milwaukee team like that.
Well, that's where we get to the whole, I was talking, you need 2 superstars, right? Mm-hmm. And when we talk about Ben Simmons, I'll probably explain this a little differently. Oh, but man. listen. But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to that.
What Middleton's asked to do is make those shots late. What Giannis is asked to do is not do that, right? So it's one of those things that, like, they tried to build back to the team thing. They're not trying to go for 2 superstars. They were trying to go for one guy who was our Superman cape guy, and then a team around him. And you need to do your job, not to be Patriots cliche. But and it did simply come down to they win or lost if Chris Middleton did his job or not. Now, at the end of the day, he got a big contract. They gave him a huge contract to bring him in. When they gave him that contract, that was the conversation. You got to be our number 2 for him, and not just our number 2. You got to be our closer. Like
I was about to say, sometimes you got to be that number 1.
Well,
who else other than Milwaukee believes in that though? He can be that guy occasionally, but is he going to be that guy every time?
And so that's where you get into the whole Tobias Harris and him. They got a lot of money, and their specific jobs are honestly to be the closer. And I've seen Chris Middleton do it. I've seen Chris Middleton do it sometimes in the playoffs. I have not seen Tobias Harris do it at all in the playoffs. But so look, I'm not that goes back to the whole. Then you just got to figure out how to get 2 superstars because one superstar and buying a closer is not working. Obviously, so here's the thing. I picked the Nets only because I just thought those 3 guys, so much talent. How can you bet against that, right?
I can just because I'm salty, but yeah.
But I'm a defense wins championships kind of guy, so I kept saying all year that Milwaukee and Philly are going to be interesting matchups for Brooklyn because the defensive matchup that Brooklyn doesn't give them, and they can both teams can score. And the Sixers and Milwaukee are probably the 2 best defensive teams other than the Lakers when AD's healthy, right? So I was like, this is going to be an interesting setup. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I actually was hoping if the Lakers were healthy, it would have been Milwaukee, Sixers, and then the Lakers, as that's who those three had to go through. That's who the Nets would have had to go through to get to win a championship. And I kept saying all year, if they can do that, if they go through those three, and they can prove to me that defense means nothing because you beat the three best defensive teams, then I'm all in on them. Obviously, everything is spelled differently because that's how sports work, and we don't get the perfect scenario, but that's okay. Back to it is. I picked, but so all season, right, I was like, but then we got to the series, and I was like, no, I got to go Nets. Everybody I like and trust though was like straight up, no, Bucks are gonna win. Like
really?
a bunch of the analysts that I listen to, like
really?
a bunch of people that I'm usually
just bought into that.
They all jumped on it.
I used to be on that too because I love Giannis.
So I got scared.
I've been fooled too many.
I got scared because going into it, I was like, nah, the Nets are definitely gonna do it. And then I start hearing that, right, and then no, listen. 5 minutes into game one, I was like, the Nets are 1,000 times better than the Bucks. What are they talking about, right? Because it's just one of those frustrating things that if they're fully healthy, they probably are much better than everybody else.
But they're not.
But
so who you got in Game 7?
I got Brooklyn because
you got Brooklyn. I got
Brooklyn too. So
I got Brooklyn. There's just way too much on that. There's way too much on that side. And everything that we just said and questioned about Milwaukee.
I started this out.
It's going to definitely stand in this game.
You're absolutely right.
When it comes down to it, you bank on Chris Middleton.
There you go.
No offense.
That's what I started out with.
Or Kevin Durant.
The closer is going to be Chris Middleton. And if you're giving me 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go in the game, it's a 1-possession game or a 2-point game or whatever. Everyone's got to make buckets. I'm picking the guy who Brooklyn's giving the ball to. It's just that's just what it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be Durant because the other side's either going to be Giannis or Chris Middleton, and Durant's going to. I'll take him in the last 2 minutes of any game before that. Yeah. And that's just what that's. I hate to simplify it that much, but like Chris Middleton.
No, that's.
I'm not. Listen, I hope he makes the shots. I'm not rooting for the Bucks or Brooklyn because the Sixers hopefully win Game 7 and have to play them. So it does not matter to me who wins this game. But I like him, right? So like I don't want to be like, oh man, you just can't do it. It's not.
Trust me, I want Milwaukee to win.
But at the end of the day, he's legend. He's legend. And
if I put money on it, I'm not going with Milwaukee. I'm going with Brooklyn. But I want Milwaukee.
And I think it could be a 1-possession game. I think it could be a close game.
And that's scary.
And yeah.
Because it ain't.
But then it comes down. Right, exactly.
It's not Giannis.
And in the beginning, when we made our last video, I said if the Bucks are down, and I didn't explain it well. If the Bucks are down late, I should have said. If the Bucks are down late, they can't win usually because other than Chris Middleton, they don't have a bucket getter that's going to bring them through it.
Nope.
So you're picking Brooklyn too.
It hurts, but
you know what the other side is, and I don't know. I don't think Steve Nash has run circles around the other coach or anything around. Now I'm drawing a blank on him.
Wow, same.
Budenholzer? No, he was the. Anyways,
star producer.
Yeah, the Bucks coach. Yeah, right. Drawing a blank live.
That's a throwback joke.
Yeah, it's a real throwback joke. But. Also, it's so like I said, Steve Nash has just done what he's supposed to do. He hasn't tried to think outside the box, do anything nuts, do anything crazy. You can question the James Harden stuff, but really, I mean, you're arguing about whether you keep James Harden on the floor or not. That's not the worst thing for the coach to be arguing about in a playoff series.
It's probably James Harden's decision anyway.
Exactly. So here's my thought on it. He's just letting them be simplified, run their offense, do what they're supposed to do. Where the Bucks. They're not making the adjustments. They're not doing the defensive things. Like I feel like he's not coaching as well on the other side, and so that's another difference for me for Brooklyn. Another Game 7. Woo. The winner of that plays the winner of the other Game 7 in the East.
The other game.
We shouldn't be in this Game 7. There should be no conversation.
Philly?
Just the whole world, the nation shouldn't have to sit through a Game 7 on Sunday night. But Doc Rivers and the Sixers decided.
Look, I texted you.
Two of the 3 games they just didn't even want to try.
Whatever it was Game 5 or 4? I don't remember at this point. But I texted you. I was like, "This is the most Doc Rivers L ever."
It was the first one.
Look, and we both like. Let's clear. Let's be before we even go on Doc Rivers. We both like Doc Rivers. It twisted. But in recent years, especially towards the end of that Clipper run, we started to realize we got a lot of it might be you, and when the same thing is happening now. In certain games with the Sixers that were happening with the Celtics,
Well,
But,
start,
yeah,
you
the
go
Celtics.
back to the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. And with the Clippers,
All right.
like, it might just be you, my guy.
So
Like,
here's the thing: the pendulum swings, right? And when he was over here, won the championship with the Celtics.
once,
All of us,
he's got one or two.
2008, 2008 or 2009, the year they lost to the Lakers, and then they beat the Lakers, or vice versa, whatever.
2 years later.
Okay, so the pendulum swings, right? He's at the height of coaching. Everyone thinks he's a great coach at that point, right?
I agree.
Right.
He's still guard.
Hold on, yeah, I agree. But then they blow a 3-2 lead to the Heat. Okay,
It's kind of wild. Okay,
LeBron puts up 45 in Game 6 and got him in Game 7 and then handled it, right?
You can't
Okay.
teach that.
They go the Clippers. His first year with the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead. Second year,
that was Lob City. They were going to win, right?
yeah, second year with the Clippers.
Yep.
Well, in their big run, I don't know. Anyways, blew another 3-2 lead.
Another one.
Blow another 3-1 lead. Last year, lost to a team they shouldn't have lost to in the playoffs.
Was that the first round? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, I think it was the first round. All I know is in the clinching game where, because they were up 3-2 in that one as well, where they could have won the series, they were up 22 points in the third quarter and lost the game. It sounds really familiar. It sounds like crazy familiar.
With all these teams.
And then he comes to the Sixers in back-to-back playoff games. One's a 17.1, one's a 27.1, and
yeah, let's talk about the historic one. Yeah, that one.
99.7%. Hey, you know what's really funny? You know me, I'm a stat guy, right? I'm gonna slay my own team here for a second.
You deserve to.
You ready? You ready?
You deserve to slay this
The
team.
only other time,
historically bad loss.
the only other time we've been alive for a time that a team was down to 99.7 in a playoff scenario in sports.
Chance of winning.
Yeah, a chance of yeah.
Coming back.
Yeah, well, yeah, like a 99% chance of a team. That team was supposed to win and they did not win. You know the only other time in our lifetime?
Nope.
We watched the game together. Patriots Super Bowl when they came back on Atlanta.
I assume that might be it.
That's
I
the
was
only
sticking,
other
I was
one.
sticking to the NBA.
That's the only other one in
Makes
professional sports in our lifetime in a playoff scenario. It's happened in the regular season.
How's that feel?
It was.
How's that feel?
The only other one that even compares to that is another football one. So like it's the only time in basketball it's been like that. Like the other ones are all within like I think like 5% away. Like it's not
that
good.
was historically bad. Here's the thing. So I turned the game off because I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired.
I wanted to.
They're destroying them. It is a wrap.
It should
they
have
at
been.
home. They in front of AI. They always roll out AI.
AI and
They
Dr.
always
J.
roll out Dr. J.
AI and Dr. J. Yeah, because they love the organization too.
And that's cool. But you can't fall down like that. It's like when they rolled out DX and y'all just collapsed for that. Stop rolling out people. Just go out there with your regular ass fans and chill. Stop rolling out these people and then blowing it.
Bring me
And then
out,
blowing it.
But listen.
Yeah, they had 2 words for y'all that
So
night. Y'all lost.
So here's the thing. Even with that night, okay, they were down 36 points in that game and lost by 2. Like, so here's the Sixers. No. Why were you down 36 at any point in that game? That's a Doc Rivers thing.
He's about to Philadelphia spin it, but we were close.
That's what pisses me off, is they shouldn't have lost any of those 3 games. It's not even a Philadelphia spin it. The Sixers, unlike the Brooklyn and Milwaukee series that we were just talking about,
I got the trigger out. Go ahead.
unlike the Brooklyn and Milwaukee series that we were just talking about, the Sixers have been the better team every single game of their series, and they're still in a Game 7.
I love it. There's the Philly in them. It just came out. You know, you should be that mad. You should be that passionate.
I fuck that.
Come on, man.
What were they doing?
That's embarrassing. Shouts to Embiid. He balled out. He the only one.
And I'm not mad because, like, okay, so there was missed shots late. He went 0 for 12 in one of them. I can go on and on and on. At the end, he's not healthy. He's not healthy.
You're not wrong. Who's the other superstar over there?
The highest paid player on the whole Sixers is Tobias Harris. I have no idea where he is.
Where's the other superstar?
Yeah. Where's the highest paid Sixer?
Where's the other one?
They don't ask him to score. So
y'all don't have a shooting guard out there?
So the thing that I cannot forgive Ben on, okay? Because no, I've been a Ben Simmons defender in his whole career. The thing I cannot forgive Ben on, the thing I cannot forgive Ben Simmons on is the free throws. Everything else, I don't care. I don't care about if he scores 4 points in the second half, doesn't take a shot. No, that's not what they ask him to do. They ask him pay him that much money to get rebounds, assists, and be the best defender on the floor.
You can't give me 10 points.
Listen. They're not asking him to. And I'll be honest with you.
And they were asking him to get something.
The Sixers weren't. No. Fans were. And the media were. The Sixers have never once been like, Ben, you need to go out and be a dominant offensive player.
What is his job?
to be the best to take away the best player on the other team defense when he's on defense, and also to be the best passer on the floor and get rebounds. And he literally does that. He does all that very well. That's what they ask him to do. Listen, I'm not
a shooting guard. Though.
Okay.
I need you to put up some points.
Follow me on here, then. Follow me.
You know why they call him a shooting guard?
Yeah, listen, but. Okay, you and I have talked about this for years. We were the first two to talk about.
I hear you.
Not the first two, but we were on the early train of positionless basketball. It doesn't matter. LeBron James is LeBron James a point guard?
Hell no.
Okay. So why does Ben Simmons have, just because he brings the ball up, why does he have to be? It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to be traditional. There's nothing traditional about the Sixers offense.
Well, maybe if he was more traditional, maybe if he got out there and worked on that shot, was it?
The only thing I want him to do more is free throws. And I told you before I want him to take jump shots. I told you before I want him to take jump shots. So they don't ask him to do it.
All I heard about, whatever year was it, whether it was this year or 2 years ago, whatever it was. Oh, Ben, he shoots so much better now. He's such a better shooter.
He has no confidence. It's all mental now. It's 1,000% a mental thing.
That's all.
But they don't ask him to do it. Okay, but again, in the beginning of the season, they were asking him to take jump shots. He did it for the first 4 or 5 games.
Did he put up like 30-some points again?
He put up 41 in a game, but he wasn't shooting. He didn't take a jump. He didn't take one jump shot in the game. He put 41 up.
So you know what? Great. Don't take a jump shot. Why aren't you driving it?
Because he can't make a free throw. It's all mental right now.
A mess, and that's a problem.
What did I just say? That's the most unforgivable thing. That's the only I can't. I'm not defending that part. I will defend him on everything else, but I can't defend the free throw thing. And yes,
you can put up 40 points on a Tuesday game, 12 of the season, but you can't show up now.
So I'm glad that you're here, so we can have the correct conversation about Ben Simmons, right?
Well, I'm having the correct conversation.
No, what I'm trying to say is
hold this man accountable.
What you're saying is not wrong in the sense of. The way, everyone gets mad because he doesn't take a jump shot. Who cares about the jump shot? It's going in and trying to take a layup in the fourth quarter that I don't disagree with. That once every now and then. He does taking 5 shots in the second half is usually enough. I'm not that's fine with me because they don't ask him to do that. What I get mad about is everybody getting mad at him for not taking over on the last 2 minutes of the game when Embiid or somebody else can't do it because they didn't act it's like working for 7 straight hours, right? And in your 8th hour, they literally have Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Thibault, Seth Curry, Embiid to do the scoring, and you're asked to do everything else. And then the next day you wake up and everyone's mad at you because you didn't do the scoring in the 8th hour after you did everything else the whole game. That's not what he's asked to do. That's not what the Sixers don't wait. Your boss doesn't get mad at you because you weren't. They have other people to do that. They're paying other people to do the scoring. So at the end of the day, him going in 1 or 2 more times, I wish he would too, and I wish he would make his free throws and he can get out of that mental thing. But it still doesn't matter if he scores 4 points or 17 points. The difference of them winning games have always been his assists and rebounds and his defensive play. And the analytics bear that out. He scored 41 points and they won the game, but he scored 32 points the next game and they lost. He scored 4 points 2 games later and they won by 20. He scored 17 in the loss in game 1. He scored 4 in the win in game 2.
I hear you, but if he put up that 30 points,
but you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
But if he puts up 30 points in that game, Trae Young's already going off for what he's going off because no one can stop Trae Young. And Ben has played very well against Trae Young. Everyone has agreed with that, and Trae Young's still going off. It's like me saying, you know what I mean, when everybody was like Iguodala's playing well against LeBron, and I was making fun of it because what LeBron was doing. It's the same shit right now with Trae Young. Ben's doing a lot on Trae Young. Trae Young would be going on for 50 if Ben wasn't covering him right now, though. Yep. So do I want to take away from that? No, because they start taking away from that end of the ball, and he starts focusing on offense, and he becomes a bad defender because he's tired, then what the hell is that going to help them? But that's what everyone else is paid to do. That's not what Ben Simmons is paid to do. Do you agree with that? Do you understand what I'm saying with that at least?
I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
All right. At least because
I also expect more. Whether or not the organization expects that more, and that's what everybody else expects.
I got you, but they win games the other way, and that's why the organization
occasionally. But right now, it's not working.
They were the one seed. They were the one seed without him shooting all year. Yes, they can do it. Well, they were the one seed. And he didn't shoot all season, but he's been the same player in the middle of the season as he is today. It's no different.
Put up more points,
and
y'all need him to put up more points. I hear everything you're saying. You're not necessarily wrong.
I don't need him to put up more points. I need him to be more aggressive and not be afraid of going to the line and missing. Because here's how I look at it. Even if more points that way too. And here's how I look at it.
Here's the thing.
Him going to the basket 2 or 3 more times and getting fouled, he might make one of those 2 or 3 more, right? So that's 2 more points, and then he might make one of those 2 more actual free throws. So you're looking at 4 or 5 more points per game, and they've only lost a couple of these games by 2 or 3 points. So you're not wrong in the sense of 2 more times, yes, but he doesn't need to be the explosive offensive player.
You might pay Tobias Harris all this money. You might have a random Seth Curry just going off randomly every now and then. Nobody
consistent the last 7 games though.
Good for him. I'm not mad at him.
No, me neither. It's just it's a breakout. It's a breakout.
It's random.
It's a breakout. 7 straight games.
But we all know who the superstar is supposed to be, and in these moments, right or wrong, mostly right, spotlight's on you.
Okay, but that goes back to the Giannis thing.
Put up the numbers.
But here's the thing with the Greek Freak.
Look.
No, here's what I'm asking.
If he don't put up these numbers, they're going home.
But here's what I'm asking. Like, would you rather him and Ben Simmons try to take over in the last 2 minutes and be what they're not, and then it not work, or what they're doing? Because if it doesn't work, they're getting destroyed for. Well, why were you trying to take jump shots? You can't take shots. Why are you trying to go? No, I'm asking. Because I don't know. I don't know.
Would you rather live and die with your superstars or rely on Seth Curry?
I would rather them rely on Seth Curry taking the jump shot. Yeah, because that's what the Sixers for 4 years have literally set this up to be exactly what's going on. So yes, like in the last 2 minutes of the basketball game, I would like them to not do something different than they have done the entire season. No, yeah, I want them to go to Seth Curry or Tobias Harris or Joel Embiid or him go down the lane. But do you know what I'm saying? Like
they should be the third and fourth option after Embiid, and then.
But Ben Simmons is never going to be Kobe Bryant, like
that's going to be Kobe
or
Bryant.
Kevin Durant. But
I'm asking you to get out of your feelings and get in there and drive, my guy.
And again, and I don't disagree with that either.
You can put up the 30 on the 40 when you feel like it. Why haven't you done it yet?
That's not what he feels like. Because he's asked to do that. When he put up 41 that night, they told him to go put up because they told him don't play defense that night too. He didn't play any defense at all. Donovan Mitchell put up 42.
I don't know. I just know he put up like 2 more points. You know,
but I'm saying like, okay, but if Trae Young puts up 55 and Ben scores 25, okay, let's say what does that help?
Okay, let's say that.
Do you understand what I mean?
No, I hear you. Let's say Ben just stops guarding long, and he does put up like 50, right? Mm-hmm. Trae Young puts up like 50. Mm-hmm. Cool. But if Ben puts up 30 and Embiid puts up 20, there you go. You just matched it. I would just expect more out of Ben Simmons, and if I was a Sixers fan, I would want more out of Ben Simmons. I hear what you're saying. I hear everything you're saying.
The only thing
but I'm gonna give you out of the argument because
I got you. No, it's the right thing to do. Listen, everyone's having.
Ben's in a weird spot because he's supposed to be what everybody's saying, what I'm saying.
But he is what I'm saying. But he's more what I'm saying. Yeah.
But that's
the organization.
That's not why they drafted him.
Okay, and that's not why they drafted him. But they paid Tobias Harris all that money because they realized that day what he was. They would have never gave it to. Do you agree with that? They wouldn't have gave it if they felt like Ben Simmons could be that scorer. They would have given Jimmy Butler the money.
Yeah, y'all should have.
Do you agree with what I mean there, though?
Yeah.
But here's my thing. That means 2 years ago, the Philadelphia 76ers, as an organization, accepted what Ben Simmons is and what he's always going to be, and they're not going to ever ask him to be more than that. So yeah, like that's where I'm at with it, and that's why I. The only way for them to win the basketball games is to not do what everyone's yelling for them to do. It unfortunately is. If he goes and does that, they're going to lose the basketball games. And I don't know. To me, like I said, they built years to get to this. This is exactly the system that they put in place for a reason. Doc Rivers has made it better. Doc Rivers leaving. Back to Doc Rivers real quick. No, real fast. Because I have an actual real assessment of that. Because we got way off topic. Because you were right about Ben having that conversation. The 27-point game. They are up 22 points. 2 minutes later, with the whole second unit in, not Maxey, by the way, not Maxey, Mr. Save the Season Maxey. This is the game before when Doc Rivers refused to play him for some reason. The lead was cut in half from 22 to 11 within 2 minutes. 4 minutes later, those players are all still out there, and it's a 2-point game. What? Like, put your starters back in. When Joel Embiid is on the court, they're literally plus 67. When Joel Embiid is off the court, they're minus 41.
That's a lot.
That's ridiculous. So why don't you not let him, stop taking him out for 6 minutes at a time, man, and letting a 27-point lead go from 22 to 2 before he gets back on the floor. And it happened 2 games in a row. And then, all of a sudden, in Game 6, after all of the fans, because you know me, I'm like, please never listen to fans. But all the fans were correct. We're all screaming for Maxey. All of us were like, can you please put in the only guy that's willing to take a shot on the second unit? Guess what he comes in and does? Saves the season in game 6 because he was the only one who wasn't. Tobias Harris at the end of game 5, all that money was playing hot potato with the ball when it came to him. And here's Maxey. No, but here's Maxey, a rookie. Here's Maxey, a rookie with the season on the line. He's like, nah, just give me the ball.
Miss Danny Green, if we're being honest.
But unfortunately, they kind of do miss Danny Green in the sense of if you start adding,
he gonna try.
But if you start adding the numbers on the box score, his 4 or 5 points are what Ben's missing.
I mean, not wrong. That's what y'all need.
It's the difference.
I guess,
we just need 4 or 5 more points in these games, and Danny Green will get those. Danny Green will get those 4 or 5.
He won't shoot.
He might get 14 some nights. He might get 4.
It's every 6 games.
I'll take the 4. They need the 4 right now. Who you got in game 7? We've skipped everything I wrote down, and I don't care. I don't care.
It'd be like that.
Who you got in game 7?
Man. I want to say Philly.
They've been the better team for the first 6 games, whether they won them or not. It's, a different case.
I'll say Philly, but I'm not rooting for it. No, I feel like I want to see Trae Young go in the next round, but look, I'd probably pick Philly.
And that's why I said we didn't write anything. I didn't say anything that I wrote down. Trae Young's unstoppable. There's this me being mad at the Sixers is no disrespect to this kid has also done some stuff that has put the Sixers in a position where they've needed to do better. He's the smartest player on the floor. I mean, they put him in the pick and roll, and he can either make that floater all day. What they haven't done, and what's really it's more than bothering me. Ben Simmons can cover the center, right? So why every time when he gets pick and rolled off the center, why doesn't Embiid just fall back and give Trae Young 7 feet to make the decision to either still pass it to Clint Capella underneath or take a floater? No, step up, don't let him come forward, and let Ben fall back with the center because Ben's as tall as their freaking center. Their center's literally the same size as our point guard. So let him just switch. Just do the actual, they call it a switch. Just actually switch. But Trae Young's the smartest player on the floor, and Embiid's really afraid that he's going to make him look silly, so he doesn't go up there and do that, and it just leads to a lot of open stuff. Trae's incredible, though. And in 4 or 5 years, if his defense can get even just a tick better, he's going to be face of the league kind of superstar.
Oh, yeah.
So
easy. How'd you feel about that dust up the other night?
Okay.
That fake dust up with Embiid.
All right.
Walking into my man, John Collins.
Yeah, here's the thing.
He didn't need to walk.
He didn't need to walk
into him. He could
have stopped. Well, I don't disagree with that. But all series long, Collins has done stupid stuff and poked at him and poked at him and poked at him and poked at him. And Embiid has literally been like, listen, if I wasn't on torn meniscus, I would have stepped on your balls weeks ago and this would have been over. It's I understand Embiid literally just being like, okay, we went up in the air. Do you agree on the foul? Was that an offensive foul?
He elbowed the hell
out of him. I agree, but he elbowed the hell out of him. Okay, but here's the trick. Doc Rivers will cry to the refs about everything, so I'm not sitting here trying to say that the Sixers are any better. But Trae Young doing his whole let me lean into a guy and hopefully his elbow while the guy's running just kind of scrapes my face and then I can fall and get a foul. The rest of the Atlanta Hawks have done that. So just because Embiid's that high, don't get me wrong, Embiid went in hard and he was pissed at Collins because Collins came in under his feet on the rebound. So he went in. I don't disagree. He went in. I call it was a non-basketball play on Embiid's part. So I don't disagree there should have been a foul. But at the same time, the guy leaned his face into the elbow to try to get the foul harder. So, you play dumb games, you get dumb rewards. And that's how that happened. That's why you got the elbow to the face. John Collins literally tried to throw his face into him while the elbow was coming. So, yeah, man, you should Embiid went that hard? No. Should have you pulled him to the ground the way you did? No. So when you guys got up, should have Embiid kept pushing you? No. A bunch of wrongs don't make it right. But at the end of the day, listen, I've been ready for one of them to just kind of shove him around anyways because him and Clint Capella both have just been off-base jawing. I'm cool with it. And I get what they're trying to do. I totally understand it. But they're not even, they're not on Embiid's level. Embiid is 1,000 times better than both of them. He's destroying them.
We all know that.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and that's what Embiid's trying to explain to them. I'm on a torn meniscus, and y'all can't stop me. Imagine if I wasn't on one. Like I would have put up 50 every game on you guys if I wasn't on a torn meniscus. And that's what he's looking at. So that's why I'm like, do what you got to do. Be who you got to be. And at the end of the day, going forward, it's only going to get more intense. So Embiid's got to have that chip on his shoulder, that don't mess with me attitude, or else everyone's going to mess with him. That's just how it goes. I'm surprised they haven't.
You gotta shut somebody up. But.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to mess with Ben so far because Ben's such a mental player. Everything on him literally depends on how his mental is that night going into a game. That's how a lot of people are, but obviously his shines a little more through. So
I ain't worried about him because he ain't scoring.
Yeah, I guess the hack of Ben. Excuse me.
It's hilarious to me.
I guess that's been enough to get in his head. But here's the thing with that. The Sixers included, everyone. Just dude, who cares if you go up missing both? I genuinely don't care. If they have to play Hack-a-Ben, that means they don't think they can play basketball to beat the Sixers. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to play basketball to beat the Sixers in Game 7. So, like...
I don't necessarily agree with that, but all right.
The strategy has never worked. It didn't... Look at Hack-a-Shaq. He ended up with 3 championships in those years.
I hear you, but
I mean, it
still slows them down.
It slows them down, but at the end of the day, again, if the Sixers wouldn't have put their backups in that 27-point game, that Hack-a-Ben would have... It literally... The Sixers netted... They netted 8 points, and when the Hawks were trying to do the Hack-a-Ben for that 4-minute stretch in the second quarter, the Sixers netted 8 more points in that time frame. Like, it's not... It's not that effective. Like, the hack of anybody has never been effective. So I never care that they do it to Ben, because at the end of the day, that means you can't beat the other team playing basketball. And, like, that's how it's always been. All right. Shout out to Tyrese Maxey, by the way. Saving the season. Game 7. Should he start?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I've been saying that for a while. It sucks. Doc Rivers is I don't know why right now, but he's very, like, anti the rookies. He's very anti the younger players. He doesn't give Thibault as much minutes. He has started to in the playoffs, but he was not giving Thibault as much minutes as I thought he should throughout the season. Maxey, he was giving up on Maxey easy. He's a rookie. He's gonna have games where he struggles. He's also a shooter, by the way. So, like, he's gonna have games where he just struggles even if he's not a rookie. Danny Green, Seth Curry, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. Like, but why you don't go away from those two, but you go away from Maxey, who does the same thing? Like, it bothers me. And he's not afraid to take a shot. He can create his own shot, which is very rare in that Sixers offense. Sixers don't have anybody to create their own shot right now. So, like, Tobias is supposed to be that guy, but he hasn't done it well enough.
So miss Jimmy Butler.
Late in games, yeah. Last series to talk about. I can't believe
that's gross.
I don't know. This is kind of like tail between our legs type stuff here, because we both...
What is it?
Well, yeah, there's still a punching bag for you, too, but...
There we ain't.
Congratulations, Clippers.
Neat.
All right.
Shouts to playoff P.
That's what I was actually just about to go. Impressed? I'm impressed.
No! That's funny. No.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm not impressed.
I'm more impressed with Terrence Mann.
No, I'm not impressed.
Terrence
you know why?
Mann.
No, I'm not
39 last night. The rookie.
I'm talking about playoff P. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to been doing.
Oh, I'm impressed because I didn't think you could.
I was about to say I'm impressed maybe for the wrong reasons.
So, no,
I'm impressed you figure it out.
He used to, and he used to be able to do it, but I can't believe.
Yeah, all of a sudden
he's back. He's back.
He heard the noise. Stop. Hey, good for him. Hey, he did it. Cool. Y'all moved on. He finally did it.
I thought it was going to be
the Jazz. What you're supposed to do. You did what we all assumed you could do, and what you used to kind of do. But
I was one of these idiots who thought it was going to be the Jazz coming out the West because, why would I ever trust? They're the Bengals of the NBA, and for whatever reason, I trusted them anyways.
I didn't trust him.
Well, he was balling though when he was playing. He was put up.
I meant Murray.
Yeah,
but I trust it was Murray.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No.
Rudy Gobert didn't show up at all there in the last series. To me, I don't know. Kawhi getting hurt.
That's huge.
That soft tissue tear is
that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he tore the ACL or not, but the soft tissue situation is. And any ACL thing, it's almost hard to expect him to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Even if it's not torn, it's almost like why would you put him out there and risk it?
and if he's out there, that'd be and healthy. That's a fun matchup.
Him
But I
versus the
mean,
Suns, yeah. Who you got?
Suns,
I'm picking the Suns
especially
too.
without
Yeah,
Kawhi,
I
a
agree with
healthy
that.
Kawhi. Devin Booker, he's chilling.
I don't
Aiton's
see
chilling.
that
Even without
just,
CP3,
Utah was up
they're chilling.
22 points at halftime in Game 6 there,
Mm-hmm.
and still lost that game to lose the series.
Aiton's on the next level, as is Devin Booker. Who's stopping that?
No, I agree. I agree.
And like I said, the Clippers got to rely on playoff P.
Ty Lue, though, shout out Ty Lue. I did not. He's a better coach than I thought. I'll give him credit. He's made great adjustments. They've been down in both series, and they figured it out in both series, and they figured it out without their superstar for 2 of the games in one series.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like he's done a pretty good job with them. But yeah, I'm taking the Suns as well. That's interesting. The Suns in the finals.
And like I said, I was kind of on that. I mean, it's wild because they smacked us around, but
I wasn't. I really
just
didn't
watch,
just
watch them though. I was just like, man, they on some next level shit though. And then that carried over to the next round, like
because they're just and they make every shot.
At game 1 of that next round, I was like, oh, no, they're they're riding that wave, and I don't think it's gonna stop. Especially if you tell me Kawhi's hurt.
Yeah, it's hard to pick.
Phoenix about to do something crazy.
Clippers with Kawhi hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't try that at all.
That kind of saves the whole Clippers organization, though, right? I mean, they were pretty close to. You have to if they weren't going to win anything.
It would just be like their 4th restart in 10 years.
Yeah, right. Well, at least with Ballmer, they have a real chance, but their owner. But
how long has Kawhi signed in? I don't remember.
I think next year.
I was gonna say I feel like it was a short
last year. It's only 2 or 3. I think it's 2 years in a player option, or maybe 3 years in a player option. I forget. I agree. So it's either this. So it's either this offseason or next offseason. He's a free agent.
And he's saying he's out. I don't see him saying.
Well, the reason I think I could see him staying is how much time do they give him off in the regular season? Like they let him. They let him do whatever he wants.
Because you want something. But now here we are in the playoffs.
Do you think another team would do that though? Let him just take all that much time off. Do you think he would go test the waters and see if another team would? I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a Kawhi thing to do. At this point in his career,
he's from LA.
He does what he wants.
Yeah,
he's the most do what I want to do.
But he's from LA. I think that was a big reason him moving there, or going back.
And if I'm a team that's looking to like do something, make some noise, then yeah, you gotta look at him. Okay, we know he's gonna sit this amount of games, and we're gonna have to be cool with that. But we're gonna be there in the end, and that's what we care about, right? Yeah, all right. Well, then let him do what he wants to do.
I agree.
You take that risk, and that's the way it is.
Shout out to Pop.
People don't play.
Shout out to Pop.
People don't play 82 games.
Do you remember all that issues back in the day when he would sit Tony Parker one game and Duncan the next?
I hated it. I still hate it. But that's the way it is.
Yeah, Ginobili, 3 games later would get a break, and he didn't care who they were playing, what night it was, what TV they were on. It did not. He sat who he sat. He literally scientifically would sit people every X amount of games, and all of us, myself included, were like, "What is he doing? Play your guys.
Play, man. Play."
And then he won the championship, or was at least they were in the championship or within range of the championship every year for like 10 years, and we were like, okay, the rest of the league should do that too.
Why won it on his own out?
Right, doing that. No, doing that, yeah.
The idea with the Clippers, but here we are in a situation where he just.
All right, so to clarify, you got Brooklyn. I got Brooklyn.
Yep.
Sixers, even though you're not rooting for it. That's not good for any of those teams if we both agree for all of them. So 2 of those 3 teams will not advance from what we said. Thank you for watching. You got anything else to add?
No.
All right. Well, we will definitely be talking conference finals. We'll try to do something.
We'll be back at some point.
Thank you so much for watching. JD Sports.
Peace.